Yo, what's up guys? The Legend Tuna, and I'm back with another episode of Tuna's Tips, a video series where I cover the upcoming raid bosses in Pokemon Go, give you the best idea of counters to use to maximize your success. If that sounds like something you'd like to see more of, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss an episode. On this episode, we have Terrakion. Terrakion is going to be making its way back into raids in Pokemon Go starting December 8th at 10 a.m. local time all the way until Thursday, December 15th at 10 a.m. local time. That means it's going to be here for a week, and we're going to have one raid hour. Raid hour happens every Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. local time. Terrakion raid hour is going to be December 14th. December 14th for Terrakion raid hour. What we do for these simulations to show you guys the top counters is we look at Poke Battler. Let's head on over there and check it out. Look at those top counters. Now, you guys, Terrakion is a rock and fighting type. It's dual type, rock and fighting, meaning it's going to be weak to 7 things. That is a lot of things to be weak to. It does not have any double weaknesses. So it's weak to fighting, ground, steel, water, grass, psychic, and fairy types. All 7 of those things are going to deal super effective damage. That's a lot of Pokemon to go over. But we've got the top 30 of them over here. What we're going to do is cover the shadows and megas first, and then we'll look at the non-shadow and non-mega. And also, Terrakion has a maximum CP of 2113 when it is not weather boosted, 2641 when it is weather boosted, and it's weather boosted in cloudy and partly cloudy weather. Your mega choices that you have to use, your top counter for megas, you've got Mega Alakazam. Make sure it's got psychic moves, confusion and psychic on your Mega Alakazam. You also have Mega Swampert and Mega Sceptile. We're very, very close, but they're also different damage types, water and grass. Make sure they also have Hydro Cannon or Frenzy Plant. Those are community day moves, so you might have to use an Elite Charge TM to put those on there if you don't have them. There are other options, so don't worry. You can use a Mega Latios with Zen Headbutt and Psychic. You move on a little bit more, and you have Mega Blastoise showing up down there with Hydro Cannon. Again, that is a community day move, Elite TM if you have it, or if that's what you want to bring. If we go a little bit further down the list, you have Mega Latias showing up on there. You also have Mega Blaziken. You gotta be careful with Blaziken because it's gonna be weak. Like it's a fighting and fire type. You might have a lot of you have to dodge a bit if you're using those Mega Blazikens. So make sure it's got counter and focus blast. Bring fighting moves, not fire moves. Okay. You also have Mega Gyarados and Mega Venusaur as options rounding out in your top 30. Venusaur with Frenzy Plant and Mega Gyarados with Hydro Pump. Your shadow counters, you guys. Shadow counters. Shadow Mewtwo, no doubt about it, is the hands down best counter you can use against Terrakion. Shadow Mewtwo does a lot of damage. Make sure it's got Confusion and Psystrike on it, and you're going to have a good time. Shadow Mewtwo was available from Giovanni right now. If you're managed to get a track down Giovanni and fight him, you can get your own Shadow Mewtwo. You're not going to be able to unfrustrate it. You'll have to add a second move to it in order to give it a damaging move. But Shadow Mewtwo does a lot of damage. It's a very, very useful Pokemon, not only for this raid boss, but for others and other things in Pokemon Go. For other shadows, there's a lot of different shadows because there's so many different weaknesses. Shadow Latios is going to be up there towards the top. Zen Headbutt and Psychic. Shadow Metagross coming in as a steel type with Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash. Shadow Machamp is up there, but notice it's less damage than a normal Terrakion. So, I mean, Shadow Machamp is good. If you have it built, you can bring it, counter and dynamic punch on that Machamp. You also have Swampert, Feraligatr, both of those with Hydro Cannon and water moves. But Shadow Swampert and Shadow Feraligatr are both usable choices. Shadow Alakazam with Confusion and Psychic. Confusion and Psychic, bring those Psychic moves on it. Shadow Gallade and Gardevoir make an appearance up there as well, both with Confusion and Psychic. If we keep going, you get a little bit worse choices, but some of you guys might have some of these built. It's all right. Shadow Executor is up there along with Shadow Hariyama. You got another Psychic user and a fighting type. And then if we keep going, you have Tangrowth, Gyarados, Latias, and even Venusaur up there. So that rounds out your Mega and Shadow choices. Let's look over at some non-Shadow, non-Megas. And again, you guessed it, Mewtwo is at the top as your best counter that's non-Shadow and non-Mega. Confusion and Psystrike, just like the Shadow counterparts, is going to have a little bit less of a time to win on that Mewtwo. That's followed by Hoopa Unbound. Hoopa Unbound, I don't know if you have one of those leveled up, but if you do, make sure it has Confusion and Psychic on it. That was available in those Elite raids not too long ago, but Hoopa Unbound. Then also one cool thing I think about Terrakion is that as you raid it, if you don't have other counters, you can use the Terrakions that you get from raids to fight more Terrakions, because Terrakion is the third best counter to use that is non-shadow and non-mega. Make sure it has double kick and Sacred Sword. It's going to have Sacred Sword on it when you get it. That is a legacy move that is normally only available from Elite TMs, so it's pretty cool that we're getting access to Sacred Sword from these raids. Maybe we'll get a good one, who knows, right? Kartana is another solid choice as a grass attacker. Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade, it's the highest Razor Leaf damage in the game right now. Kartana, very, very strong. Metagross and Lunala, both very good choices as well. Metagross put Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash on it, and Lunala, make sure it's got those psychic moves, Confusion and Psychic. We move on just a little bit more here. You get regular Hoopa Bound, put psychic moves on that. Conkeldurr shows up there with counter and dynamic punch. Zarude is a grass type with Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant. Alakazam, make sure it's got Confusion and Psychic. You also have Latios and Kyogre showing up there at 11 and 12. You move further down, you have Jirachi, going to be a little bit more tanky there with Confusion and Doom Desire. If you powered your Jirachi up to 40, you could use Espeon, you can use Skyform Shaman as a grass attacker, Theron Form Landorus, Breloom, Machamp. There's all sorts of counters in all different flavors, whatever you want to bring, you guys. Pheromosa with fighting moves. Careful, it's a bug type. That 56 next to its name right there, that's how many deaths. So if you're using a Pheromosa, make sure you better be dodging everything to be doing some damage. You might spend more time dodging than you are doing damage, so maybe not Pheromosa. Executor is up there with Confusion and Psychic. Swampert's up there with Water Gun and Hydro Cannon. That's a Community Day move, that Hydro Cannon. Kingler with Bubble and Crab Hammer. Empoleon with Hydro Cannon, another Community Day move. Gallade with Confusion and Psychic. And the bottom 30, or the bottom like 6 of those 30, you've got Dialga with Steel moves, Metal Claw and Iron Head. Xurkitree with Power Whip, that is not Stab. Zacian with Play Rough and Metal Claw, Gardevoir, Azelf, and Feraligatr. Let's head on over and I'll show you guys the team that I plan on bringing. Now, if you guys have never built a team in raiding for Pokemon Go, it's simple. Click the Pokeball at the bottom of the screen, click Battle in the top, in the right here. Go to the very top right, click Party, and scroll all the way down to the bottom where you can click the green plus button to make a party. This is just an example. You got new party, you just click OK, and look, it gives you a save party that you can just save and have quick access to while you're in the raid screen. I've already done that, and so my team is right here. It's all Mewtwo's and my Alakazam that I plan on mega-ing up for these battles. So my leads, both of those first two Mewtwo's are Shadow, both Shadow Mewtwo's. They both have Confusion and Psystrike. I will be using a Mega Alakazam with Confusion and Psystrike, and then those last 3 Mewtwo's on the list there, they are non-Shadow, but they still do have Confusion and Psystrike. That's the highest damage that I can come up with the Pokemon available to me. You guys might have different teams than mine, but as long as you're dealing super effective damage, you should have no problem getting this boss down with 2 to 4 trainers with proper counters. You could also bring, I've got a couple other ones up over there on the side of the screen. You can see Terrakion with Double Kick and Sacred Sword as a mention. Then you also have Metagross with Bullet Punch and Meteor Mash. Remember, Meteor Mash is available from Elite Charge TMs only. Don't bring it if you're going to put Flash Cannon on it. Only bring it with Meteor Mash. It's a very, very big difference, Meteor Mash and Flash Cannon. Conkeldurr or even Machamp with Counter and Dynamic Punch. And then also Kartana with Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade. This one was a little bit longer. We had a lot of different counters to cover, but normally we like to keep things short and sweet here over at Tuna's Tips. You can catch me live 7 days a week over at Twitch TV/Legend Tuna from 4 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. We're always hosting raids, answering questions, hanging out, doing some GBL maybe every once in a while to fill some time. But mostly we like to focus on raids and hanging out with you guys, chilling. So yeah, stay safe out there and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.